guys, I got a haircut because I'm cool. I was actually gonna record this video originally about 20 minutes ago, and then I'm like, my hair looks bad, so I'm gonna get a haircut, and it looks really weird now, and I know that, and it's gonna grow out more for it to look normal, but it's okay. I finished a show today. I had the day off today, which doesn't happen too often, but it happens sometimes. And the show I finished, you already read the title, is Soul Eater. Now this is the complete collection that was released not that long ago. I want to say it was not even a year it's been out. Now it is reversible, the cover, so this is what the original cover looks like, and I just reversed it so it looks nicer when you take the sleeve off. This is all 51 episodes, which is a year's worth of anime, because, you know, one a week. Usually they have 1 week off or 2 weeks off because of holidays or whatever. And this collection, I'm going to show you, it is very cheaply made, I'm not even going to lie to you, but here's all the discs. Now, what these discs are, I'm not sure, that they're not the same on the actual disc art, but what they are is the Meister collections and weapon collections. So they had collections 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And all they are, they just encoded them on the discs again, and you have the complete thing. Because if you look at the data on the DVD, it'll say Soul Eater Part 1, or Disc 1, Soul Eater Part 1, Disc 2, and so on and so forth. So this is Disc 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I just keep counting? How many discs are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That makes more sense, I think. So the quality of the DVDs are really good. There is a Blu-ray collection out if you want Blu-ray. Only reason I keep buying DVDs and I don't own an anime that's in Blu-ray yet is because I like the availability. I can throw it in my computer, I can throw it over there in my PS3, but that's not what we're talking about. This collection of the show is really good. It's in widescreen, you know, how it should be watched. And there's some commentaries. There's about 5 commentaries in total. That's about 1 a disc almost, 1 every other disc or something like that. And you have the Soul Eater Late Show, which is like a little minute thing in Japan, I guess they had, for commercials. You have all of them on every other disc, I believe. And you have textless intros and outros. So, to talk about Soul Eater, I'm going to put this back on here. It was done, I believe, it says on the back here, I believe. Actually, maybe it doesn't. It doesn't say it on here. But it's Studio Bones, which I think the people who did this did Cowboy Bebop and Fullmetal Alchemist, I think. That's me just guessing. I remember reading that on the back, but it's not on the back here, so that's kind of weird. So, to explain the show, you have weapons and Meisters. The Meisters can control the weapons. The weird thing is, they're all people. And Maka, who's the girl on the cover, and her weapon, Soul, are the main characters, mostly. There's other main characters, but they're like the main characters. And the rest of them you have, I'll actually show you on the back here, is Tsubaki beside the blue-haired guy, which is Black Star. You have the guy beside Tsubaki is Death the Kid, and his weapons are the Thompson sisters, I believe. One's named Patty, and the other one I forget. I want to say Sam, but I don't think that's right at all. And we have one of their main teachers, who is believed to be the strongest Meister out of the entire place they're in, is Stein. Right at the top there, and the very, very top there, the red-haired guy, is Maka's father. This you can see better online or whatever if you see the show. To explain the show, they are all characters, all those characters go to a school, and the school is called the Death Academy or whatever. And basically they go to school so they can learn to become better death scythe people, if that makes sense. Come on, one second. Yeah, shut my heater off. I forgot I had that on. So, the very beginning of the show, it starts off that we have Maka and Soul collecting 99 souls, and the last soul I need to collect is a witch soul. And the show starts off that they already have all 99 souls. and they're gonna get their last witch soul. And there's a fight that happens with a character named oh my god, what's her name? Blair the witch. Which, without spoilers, it is the first episode. So if you haven't seen at least the first episode, sorry. This probably most of this is gonna be a bit of spoiler, but it's not really that much if you actually look at the back of the DVD case. But Blair is a cat, and she's actually not a witch, so they kill her, but because they have 9 lives, that she gets back up. And they waste all 100 souls, and they have to start again from scratch. Now the reason why they're doing that is so that they can get, make it so soul can become a death scythe. And basically what a death scythe is when you get a weapon to get 99 souls and a witch soul, they become just one of Death, who is the leader of the academy, who is, yes, the Grim Reaper Death himself, one of his weapons. It doesn't necessarily mean that he can only be using it. Anyone can use them who can get a wavelength to use the weapon, but it just makes it so they're the top of their class, if that makes any sense. This is where the show gets a little confusing. So we get intros to all those characters I mentioned, and we also later on get, not too later on, a few episodes in, get introduced to Death, the kid, which is the son of Death. And he wants to enroll into the classes so he can learn and all that lovely junk. But the show, about 20 episodes in, drops that whole basis. And without spoiling too much, I'm going to talk a little bit about spoilers, I think, but not too much. We start getting into Keishans, who are these like really evil beings and witches, and how these witches want to control the Keishans to control the world and defeat Death and his minions, if you want to call them that. And that's about the middle of the show, and that's fine. But the ending. This is where it gets iffy. The ending of Soul Eater is not the canon ending. If you go on the internet right now, go to Amazon.com or whatever, you can still tell that the mangas are being released, which means the story is still going, which means the ending was made up. Now, from what I understand, it's about the last 12 episodes or 15, last quarter of the show is changed and made up to be the ending, which I'm not sure how much of it. I have the first 5 volumes. You can see my manga collection in another video, but the first 5 volumes is about the first 25, 26 episodes, and they're on volume 13, which obviously means that would be like episode 70 if they kept going, which they didn't. Which means the ending. That ending. That last filler, I want to call it, of the show, I didn't like. I didn't like the ending. Because the last episode literally just wraps up all their fights and issues, which I don't think it did it well. It would have been a great season ender. Well, an okay season ender. But there's a lot of unanswered things. The show drops the whole premise of the actual show about 20 episodes in, and it starts going a really dark route, which is okay. There's a lot of things that they just solve because, oh shit, we have to solve them, and that's fine and dandy, but it's a little annoying. Now this video, this is where you can stop watching, because I'm going to be talking about the ending and probably other things about the actual show that I don't really want to talk about if you haven't seen it. So you can exit now. I thank you for watching all that lovely stuff. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, hi again, but you know, all that lovely junk. But here we go. Spoilers. Little bit of spoilers. Probably the biggest one I want to say is Maka. Here we go. If you haven't laughed, it's your own fault. In the end of the show, turns into a weapon. Now the reasoning for that is because her mom is a Meister and her dad is a weapon, she can become a weapon. None of this is said throughout the entire show. None of this ability is not been able to go through until they just fucking do it. My issue is, why would you have weapons and meisters. This is gonna sound weird. If you can breed or just have it so meisters can become weapons, so they don't necessarily need... I know it's a whole partner and friendship system, but wouldn't it be safer if something happened where, for example, there's a scene throughout the show where Death gets... the Academy gets attacked, and they probably would have been okay, possibly, if Death's main weapon, which is Maka's father, would have been there. Okay. That wouldn't have happened if Death had a... This is how it's like, it makes sense to me, because what the ending did. But wouldn't it make sense if Death had both parents, or at least could train himself to become a weapon? And then the whole half of the show wouldn't have been the same. Now the reasoning, I know this isn't correct at all what I'm saying, is that the ending was filler. Well, not filler, it was made up so they could actually have an ending. The same thing happened with Hellsing. The same thing happened with Fullmetal Alchemist, the original series. I know there's more, I can't think of any. But ending a show... Oh, GT! The whole Dragon Ball saga of shows, GT. That whole thing was filler. Or, not filler, it was made up. And I don't call that shit canon even when it is canon, but I don't call it canon. So what I'm trying to say is, that whole thing about Maka turning into a weapon, well, she can be a Meister and a weapon, kind of ruins the premise of the show a little bit. I understand that they're supposed to be, you know, friendships, and they're supposed to work together to become a team and do all their stuff, but there's certain vulnerable points of the show that if they could have became a weapon earlier, or could learn how to become a weapon, the Meisters, then why didn't they, kind of thing. For example, weapons. They can make their arm turn into their weapon real fast, and if they had to, fight or deflect something. Okay. So weapons are weapons. But if the Meisters can become weapons, it kind of makes weapons useless. And I know it's because her mother and her father were two different things, but you know how many people in that university probably had one mother who, or one father who just were different weapons and Meisters? It didn't make sense to the ending. It was... I understand how they needed to wrap it up to make her look more powerful and all that junk, but it's just the fact that how they did it is how they did it. And it annoyed me. And the ending of Soul Eater doesn't ruin the show at all. It just makes you come out of the show not feeling what you should have, if that makes any sense. But I want to say this. This was actually the longest watched show for me. This was the first show I ever watched. And I watched up to episode 21 because my friend told me I should just watch up until they show Excalibur. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I did it, and I stopped watching it. And I picked it up recently, as you can see, and I finished the rest of it. And I really like the show. I want to say the Intro 1 is probably the best intro in an anime, like, ever. It's that good. It's right up there with Cowboy Bebop and, for me, One Piece, but I like the One Piece intros. Something. But Cowboy Bebop, yeah. Come on. But yeah, that's my Soul Eater review rant kind of thing. There's probably a lot more I could talk about, for example, like with Medusa and how she can resurrect, and her reasoning for resurrection wasn't that great. And if she did, how she did it, couldn't she technically do it again? They even, if you actually watch the very last episode, they show a snake in a tree, which kind of means, okay, one of her snakes are still around, meaning she can do her thing. Oh man, I don't want to keep on talking about this, but her snakes are in the Frog Girl. I can't think of her name at the time. But there's a Frog Girl. Oh, this is for people who haven't seen the show, but they don't care about me spoiling it. There's a Frog Girl who gets injected by her snakes, so she'll follow her reasonings or whatever. And the thing that doesn't make sense is the reason why she resurrected the first time was because one of the snakes, or whatever, one of her pieces were out of her body, but that doesn't make sense because we know that the snakes are still in the Frog Girl? Which is like, okay. Does not mean she can resurrect again. truthfully, this show could have a second season. It could have a movie. I would actually probably prefer a movie. Sorry. Probably prefer a movie. Which would be great. Will it happen? No. It's been... How long has it been? I want to say since 2006, but it might have been 2007. It looks good enough to be a 2007 Up show. But, I'm just wasting time. I'm sorry. I don't see it, but it's one of the fucking greatest looking shows. And the thing is about it, it's so good looking, it looks like it should be a 13 episode show. That's what the budget looks like, but it has 51 episodes. That's insane. But I could talk about this a lot more. There's a lot more I would like to talk about, but I don't want to have the video. It's already 15 minutes, so I apologize for that. But this is the end of the video, and thank you for watching. Subscribe, all that lovely stuff. And yeah, if you want me to do a part 2 of this, message me, I guess. Or not message me, put it in the comments if you'd like to hear more, because there's other stuff I do want to talk about. It's very picky, just like my other comments. But, yeah. I'll probably talk about it a bit more in my end of the month update, so subscribe for that. Each month I show what I get, so those are lovely to watch. And I will talk about it at the end of the month. Not as much as this video, but I will talk about it again. So, yeah, we'll see you.